Desperado promo, take one.
Yeah, just feel as natural as you can, just
Okay.
like you're, as much as you can imagine, just talking to a regular person who might just be asking this.
Just a regular person.
Yeah, without all the cameras and all this other stuff.
That's such a hard question. There's so many great films. One of the films that really, every time I see it, that really resonates with me is called Edge of 17. And it takes place in 1984 in Sandusky, Ohio. And it's about a boy who grew up just like I did in a middle-class family. It just shows that the burgeoning hormones that are starting to rage, and when you start realizing I'm not like other kids, and I didn't feel like other kids, and Eric, the main character in it, he doesn't feel like other kids. And it takes place, I was a child of the 80s, and so is this young man. The first time he walks into a gay bar, as I remember that same sense of, part of it was amazement, and part of it was just realizing this is not really very different than, it wasn't outrageous. It wasn't like the bars in Cruising, the movie Cruising in New York, and it just captures that, the feeling, and I mean the fashions and the bad hairdos and too much eyeliner, and I felt like him.
Well, there's a film that's a French film called La Vie en Rose, which is about a little boy who's only 8 years old who wants to be a girl. But it is such a unique and wonderful film of and it was done 20 years ago, so it's not like all the transgender information we're getting now. It was very, very early in the stage, and it was an amazing film about acceptance and learning to be who you are, and for your family to learn to accept you. So that was a great film. The little boy, and I don't remember his name, but he wants to go to a birthday party dressed as a girl. He goes to this party, but his parents won't let him dress like a girl. So he has to dress in a pirate suit. And this little girl is there, and she's dressed in this frilly, girly suit. And so what they do is they go off in the bushes and they change costumes. So he's in the dress and she's in the pirate suit, and the whole place goes crazy. And it's just really funny. It's like, you know, let them be what they want to be. Let them wear what they want to wear.
Okay, For the Bible Tells Me So. That one was so powerful. As a Christian, like heterosexual woman, I couldn't believe some of the things that happened in the films that come from my own religious affiliation. I had no clue. Like, I've had heard things, and usually most of it's so taboo that no one, as a Christian, a lot of Christians don't speak about it. So when I saw the film, it really opened up my eyes. It really, had me hear the things that, like a lot of the damnation that goes on, and really enforces why I don't support it. And it really helped me see the Bible the way that was explained in the film. I really agreed with what they said.
Honestly, I think for me it was definitely in and out. It reframed the way I thought about things, and it showed things in just a completely different light. I kind of thought of myself as detached from like LGBT issues at that time. So the fact that it really humanized it and made me understand that, you know, this is a thing that affects other people, and it allows people to be all parts of themselves. That was something that I was emerging with at the time, and it really spoke to me, and it was just also wonderfully hilarious. So the scene where they're doing the hypermasculization through the video recording, and they start playing the music, and he's not supposed to dance, and the guy's yelling at him and telling him not to, and he just can't help it, and he runs around just dancing through his entire house. It's almost impossible not to smile through that scene.
I would probably pick I Can't Think Straight, The Birdcage, Rocky Horror Picture Show. But I'm a cheerleader. Who doesn't love that one? Big gay musical. And that one is just so hilarious and just amazing.
I'm going to have to probably say that I love Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, because that was one of the first films I saw as someone who has accepted myself as a gay male. And again, their struggles that they were going through and kind of their own kind of subculture of the drag community and the trials and tribulations that they had to go through. But just, I thought it was wonderfully written, so incredibly campy, and it's one of those eminently quotable films. I can continue laughing at that every time that I watch it. I think Priscilla's a great escape, and we love maybe seeing ourselves in a big shoe on a bus doing a a grand song of some sort. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that, for fun? I'm sure if you know what scene I'm talking about. I'm really big into foreign film and especially documentaries. I love documentaries, and a documentary that resonated with me was Forever Is Gonna Start Tonight. I'm from Detroit, and I know that there was a part of her story was a stint that she had done in Detroit, and kind of seeing all of the old photos and the nostalgia, and that film really resonated with me because it shared with us her history, and we don't necessarily realize all of the robust history that is out there within the gay and lesbian community over the decades, and her sharing the story with us really hit home, and again, it brought back memories of Detroit for me. I haven't lived there for about 10 years, but it was great to hear her journey.
My favorite gay film would have to be The World Unseen, which is a very small film that was only shown in film festivals. It was based in the Apartheid in South Africa, and it had to do with this married Indian woman and her relationship with this other unmarried woman. And it was just a beautiful story between you saw all the different aspects of the woman who was forced into marriage and forced to have kids, and how she had to pretend to be straight, and the other one who said no. She wanted to wear pants. She wanted to be her own person. She wanted to own a business, which was completely out of the question back then. But it was just a beautiful story between how they met and how they find the love that they were never shown as kids.
Stupid Cowlick. And some of the ones that come to mind, obviously, are Pink Flamingos, Mondo Trasho. I guess if I would have to pick my favorite, it would have to be Female Trouble by John Waters. The characters are just so over the top, as with most of his films. They're just really, really out there, and every emotion is just amplified to the 10th degree. My favorite scene is when Dawn Davenport wakes up, and it's Christmas morning. All she wants are her cha-cha heels for Christmas, and she had better get those cha-cha heels. And so she opens the box, and it's a shoe box, but in there is some of the ugliest shoes. So she stomps on them and throws the Christmas tree down on top of her mom, and the dad threatens to send her to reform school, and she runs out, and then she starts a life on the road.
My favorite so far I actually saw at the Desperado Film Festival last year, and it was titled Wish Me Away. It was a documentary made from Cheryl Wright, and I just thought, what a courageous woman. She documented 40 days up until she publicly came out, and she documented her journey and her worries and the tensions she was going through from like religious leaders, her family, and the disapproving, and what should she do as a public figure coming out. And I just remember thinking, what a brave individual this is, especially in the country music industry, where they're not necessarily the most open of people. And her doing that, I just thought it was amazing, because that's someone who's using their agency, their popularity, to speak out and make it okay for others to feel comfortable in doing so.
It's so difficult to pick a favorite LGBT film, but I remember many, many years ago when I saw The Life and Times of Harvey Milk, and that was the first time I had heard about Harvey Milk, and the documentary was just incredible. And I always tell people, if they like the feature film Milk, starring Sean Penn, they should actually go back and watch the original documentary, and it's just amazing.
I think it's important to have Desperado. We are coming up in our 4th year, and throughout it, it's made it so in Phoenix alone, our community has grown stronger, because we say, oh, we have somewhere to go watch the films. We don't have to go on Netflix, and we don't have to, go rent a DVD. We have a place where we can go to a theater, sit down, and watch these films. And the fact that I love is we have brought so many scholarships because of Desperado. We have made it so the LGBT community, not just the youth, but even adults, can go back to school and say, well, I couldn't do this back then, but now because of this film festival, because I went and saw a movie, I now have the courage to go back to school and do all that.
We live in a day and an age where we have Will and Grace on television, and we have Ellen DeGeneres' show, or you have partners or the new normal or Modern Family, but there's still a very, very special niche for LGBT filmmaking that you can't find anywhere. And these are not the movies you're gonna see in any theater, but there's certainly something for everybody. And I think that it's important to still have this niche of, independent LGBT filmmaking, because there'll be something that will resonate with you. And I think that it shows that we're really not all that much different.
Well, I think it brings diversity, brings in inclusion. It helps, people that maybe aren't familiar with LGBT issues. This gives them a safe setting to come see some of the films, some of the issues. And everyone here has been so great and inclusive. And I think that the film festival just helps educate people and helps them see the normalization of LGBT rights in their community. And, I think love is love. So I think that this kind of film festival helps really reinforce that for the rest of the community.
There was probably a 4-year lag before we had anything like this, and when Desperado brought this back in 2010, I was so excited that, there was something in our community here for film. I know there are many other entertainment options out there, but to kind of have an annual event to look forward to like this, and to, see different parts of our community coming out and enjoying film and the different types of selections there, I get excited every January, because I know at the end of January I know where I'm going to be.
I talk about this a lot with some of my friends, is that Phoenix lacks some sort of culture. We don't have this coming together, we don't have this community, and Desperado provides that. We have a community gathering that lasts all weekend, and people from all over Arizona come and show up just to take part in this wonderful event that tells the stories of so many different people and in so many different ways. We have documentaries, we have shorts, we have features, and it's nice that we're able to come together and enjoy that. Like, we're in a theater, we're able to block out what's actually going on outside the world and just be immersed in this story before us.
I think when Desperado started, it'll be its 4th year this year, I believe. When it started, I thought, are they crazy? Are they kidding me? We're in Arizona, And they did such a beautiful job. They did such a wonderful job of mixing and matching the films and having something for everybody and bringing in the community. And that was just really great. And you could tell everybody wanted it. And I think they're filling a great void here in Arizona. Hopefully it'll just get bigger and bigger.